Hi everyone. In this video, what I'd like to talk through is product costs and where they exist on the income statement. So using the Starbucks example, I've got a picture of some products that are sold within the Starbucks structure, and every single sale will show up in total revenue. That's where all of the revenue is. So regardless of whether you buy a latte at the store or you buy a Via product or one of the whole bean coffees or something like that at a store, or if a customer is invoiced for product that they buy, all of those generate revenue. All of that goes to that total revenue line. Everything that it takes to produce those products, either we're buying merchandise or we're actually manufacturing a product, all of those direct costs go into that cost of revenue line. So I'm actually showing you the very top level of an income statement for Starbucks, and that total revenue is all of the sales, and the cost of producing or buying that inventory when it was before it was sold is the cost of revenue. Now, oftentimes you will see cost of revenue as cost of goods sold. Those are synonymous terms. So when you are looking at an income statement, I don't want you to be confused by the phrase cost of revenue. Cost of revenue just means cost of goods sold. So to go into a little further detail about this from a process overview, within Starbucks, they buy products. Like, for example, for the longest time, they bought the Via product from a third-party vendor. The Via product is something that they actually take Starbucks coffee and they grind it. They do that micro grind. But there was another company that did that. Starbucks has since then actually built a manufacturing facility. I don't know how much of it actually does the production now. I don't know if it's what percentage split it is, but Starbucks actually bought that Via product for the longest time. So they would buy that product, it would go into inventory. They would also purchase raw materials like we talked about with the whole bean roasted coffee. So they would buy the green coffee, they would buy the packaging materials and that little gas valve and all those sorts of things. And so that would go into a work in process inventory or a raw material inventory, and then eventually be turned into a finished good. And then they also purchase merchandise like all the cups that you see, all the coffee mugs, all of the candies, all of the food. I mean, there's all kinds of things at a store that they just buy directly. They don't actually manufacture it. And so all of that inventory would go into warehouses, different warehouses around. And Starbucks has an extensive third-party logistics network of warehouses around the country and around the world. And so all this inventory is funneled into all of those different distribution centers. And then eventually they go to store inventory. If Starbucks is actually invoicing a customer, it bypasses the store completely. That will just come out of the distribution warehouses and go directly to the customer. So from a store inventory standpoint, Starbucks doesn't invoice you for your latte. You swipe that debit card, you swipe the credit card, you swipe your points card, loyalty card, and that's just handled at the cash register, at the point of sale system. So revenue is happening right at that moment. And revenue transaction and its associated cost of goods sold is happening all at the same time. But if you have a company like Alaska Airlines, I believe Alaska Airlines is one that actually buys coffee for their planes from Starbucks, they would purchase a bulk shipment of coffee and Starbucks will invoice them. And when Starbucks invoices them, that is when the revenue and the associated cost of goods sold will be recorded. Cost of revenue and cost of goods sold, like we talked about before, as far as the whole bean coffee goes, or anything else for that matter, is the direct purchase cost or the direct manufacturing cost, one or the other. So if we're buying a mug, it's just a purchase price. Okay, so if they buy a mug for $2 and then turn around and sell it for $10, that $10 is the revenue and the $2 to buy it is the cost of revenue, which may also include some freight and things like that, whatever that cost breakdown is. And like we talked about with the whole bean coffee, they've manufactured that. So they take all these different costs and they roll it up to become whatever that base cost is for a whole bean coffee bag. All right. So that's how it all gets in there. And If you have any questions about this at all, please do ask in the comments. I'd be happy to respond to you there. And I hope this helps. So let me know, and I'll talk to you soon.